You're scrolling late at night and every decent house costs $500,000. The kitchen's outdated, carpet's beige, yet somehow it's called a starter home these days. You're doing mental math wondering if you missed something or everyone's just insane. Spoiler, it's not you. The math is completely broken and I'll show you why. I'm Neo, and we're calculating who can actually afford a $500,000 house in 2026. Not who qualifies for a loan, but who can genuinely afford it without stress. Qualifying and affording are two totally different things. Let's get real about this. In many U.S. markets, $500,000 is the baseline for anything that's remotely decent now. You're getting a basic box with 3 bedrooms and a yard the size of a towel. Cities like Denver and Austin expect regular people to somehow pay these prices. Median household income is around $84,000. We're asking people to buy homes costing 6 times that. If that sounds insane, congratulations. You're actually paying attention to the math here. Everyone says you can do it. Brokers approve you. Your parents managed it somehow. So what's the problem? Everyone's lying about what affordable really means to you. Let's start with the down payment. That's where most dreams die pretty fast. Traditional rule is 20% down. On $500,000, that's $100,000 cash. The median savings account has maybe $8,000. You're not even remotely close yet. If you save 10% of $84,000 yearly, that's $8,400 going toward your goal. It takes 12 years to save the down payment, assuming prices freeze completely. So you put down 5% or 10% instead, like most people do? Congratulations. You just unlocked PMI, private mortgage insurance, essentially a poverty tax monthly. You'll pay $200 to $400 monthly for insurance protecting the bank, not you. You're starting from financial punishment before you even move into the house. Let's talk actual mortgage payments. You scrape together $50,000 down somehow, that leaves $450,000 to borrow. At 6 to 7% rates, your payment is roughly $2,800 monthly. That's just principal and interest, nothing else you actually need for living. Add property taxes around $500 monthly. Insurance, another $250 to $350 monthly. Budget 1% of home value for maintenance annually. That's about $417 every month. Don't forget PMI. Add another $200 to $400 to your monthly bill. Your total housing cost sits at roughly $4,367 monthly, assuming nothing breaks unexpectedly. Financial advisors say spend maximum 28% of gross income on housing costs. If $4,367 is 28% of income, you need roughly $187,000 annually to afford this. Using the lenient 43% rule, you still need about $150,000 annual income minimum. Here's the punchline. Only 10 to 20% of households make $150,000 or more yearly. That means 80% of Americans cannot comfortably afford this house at all. This isn't opinion. This is just math being brutal and completely honest with you. But people still buy these houses. Who are these mysterious buyers exactly? Some have dual high incomes. Some have family money. Some stretch dangerously thin. Let me show what this looks like with a real household example. Meet a couple making $160,000 combined. That's upper middle class, well above median. After taxes and retirement, they take home about $9,500 monthly in reality. Subtract $4,367 for housing. They're left with $5,133 for literally everything else. Car payments take $800. Insurance and gas add $550. Student loans take $600. Health insurance costs $400. Groceries run $800. Utilities total around $450 monthly. They have $1,533 left. No emergency fund, no real savings, no room for anything. This household spends 46% of take-home pay on housing, not 28%, nearly half. They're not irresponsible. They're just trying to live in what's considered normal housing. This feels like checking your account before groceries and saying no to your kids. Fixing everything yourself because professionals cost too much. Constant financial anxiety every day. Your friends seem fine, but you don't know what's happening behind their doors. This is being house poor. You own walls but can't afford life inside. If you're considering a $500,000 house earning under $140,000, just stop right now. You're about to make a decision that could destroy your next decade. I don't care what brokers approve or what agents say is normal anymore. The numbers don't care about your feelings or your dreams of granite countertops. Let's talk about ignoring this advice, because plenty of people do exactly that. You stretch, you convince yourself it'll work out. Month 1, you manage payment. Month 4, car repairs cost $800. You don't have? Credit card time it is. Month 7, AC dies. Repair costs $3,500. You finance it because there's no choice. Month 9, work hours get cut. Suddenly you're short $600 every single month. That emergency fund never happened because there was nothing left to actually save. This is being house poor in America. You own it but can't afford living in it. Every unexpected expense becomes crisis. Every decision revolves around that mortgage payment entirely. You're a prisoner working to pay for walls. You're too stressed to enjoy. Here's the twisted part. We've normalized this misery completely as a society now. Financial desperation is called adulting. Being house poor is part of the journey. Supposedly, we pretend struggling for basic home ownership is normal rather than a broken system. The math screams at you, but culture whispers you should buy anyway. Your parents bought at your age, but their house costs 3 times income. Yours costs 6 times. Society says renting wastes money, but so does drowning financially. Let me give you permission to choose not to play this game. You can run real numbers and walk away. You can keep renting and wait. You can acknowledge the American dream warped into something unattainable for most people. That's not your fault. This system is fundamentally broken for regular earners. Real wealth isn't owning a house you barely afford every single month. It's having budget margin, investing consistently, not choosing between roof and retirement constantly. Real wealth is freedom, not equity. You can't access because you're trapped. The financial industry profits when you buy, not when you make smart decisions. If you feel priced out or like you're failing at adulthood, listen carefully. You're not failing? The system is failing you completely and utterly right now. Home prices outpaced wages so dramatically that normal became luxury for most people. A $500,000 house isn't starter. It's not affordable unless you genuinely have income. Run your real numbers, factor all costs. Be honest about income stability completely. If math doesn't work, walk away. No shame in being realistic here. No trophy for buying a house making you miserable every single day. The real win is making decisions based on reality, not social pressure. I'm not saying abandon home ownership forever. I'm saying abandon the delusions about it. A $500,000 house isn't within reach just because banks approve your paperwork. The bank's risk tolerance and your ability to live aren't the same thing. Maybe income doubles later. Maybe market's correct. Maybe you relocate somewhere reasonable, eventually. But right now, this math is broken for most people trying to participate. Pretending otherwise doesn't make you optimistic. It makes you a foreclosure statistic eventually. Stop looking at what you qualify for. Start looking at what you afford. Find the number where you can pay everything, and remember, life without stress. For most people, that number is nowhere near $500,000, and that's fine. You're not less successful for being realistic. You're just doing actual math here. The market will pretend prices make sense. Banks will keep approving bad loans. But you don't have to participate in financial insanity just because others do. Sometimes the smartest move is recognizing when the game is completely rigged and choosing not to play at all, despite what everyone tells you.